The Vice President, Mr. Slambatsohwane, and other officials from Botswana graced the Kavango Zambezi Transfrontier Conservation Area themed leveraging KAZA's natural capital and cultural heritage resources as catalysts for inclusive socio-economic development of the eco-region. Take a listen.
Straddling 5 southern African countries, Angola, Botswana, Namibia, Zambia and Zimbabwe, lies a tourism destination without borders, measuring 520,000 square kilometers with vast wildlife sanctuary. This is the Kavango Zambezi Transfrontier Conservation Area, an effort by the 5 countries to share tourism that visit the area by offering them 5 different experiences. It is the Kavango and Zambezi river basins that tie these countries together. After years of its formation in 2010, KAZA, which is one of the largest nature and landscape conservation area in the world, has been making baby steps to make it the destination of choice. Just recently, leaders of the 5 member countries converged in Livingstone, Zambia, for the inaugural KAZA Summit to renew their commitment towards the area.
We celebrate KAZA with responsibility, but with the order book. I use that term deliberately. Work ahead of us. We've come this far, but we have work ahead of us. A lot of work. And we don't have the time. The risks we run now are exacerbated by the climate change challenges that we've seen. So working together, I heard you, Minister, is an imperative. And not always to think of competition, but more complementarity. I was thanking the minister from Angola to go and thank President Lorenzo that because we had no rain in Zimbabwe, in Zambia, largely, and Namibia and other countries, let's say the KAZA countries, the only country that had a bit more rain of the 5 countries is Angola. And we can see a little bit more water, yes, it's lower levels, but a little bit more water coming through Lungwebungu from Angola, tributary into the Zambezi, from Luanginga, Lueti, for us. And I think there are other tributaries as well, trickling through a little bit more. And we must say thank you to the rain we had in Angola. That underscores the importance of working as one.
It is this spirit of unity which will facilitate continued beneficial cooperation and collaboration among our nations for the betterment of our people. Your Excellencies, I am delighted that the KAZA TFCA has provided us with tools and frameworks to enable us to meet our obligations towards the attainment of our national visions, as well as the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Further, the KAZA TFCA has created building blocks for SADC member states to forge closer partnerships as we implement various provisions of the several multilateral environmental agreements between us, such as the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Fauna and Flora, the CITES, and other related protocols which we have signed.
A thriving KAZA TFCA with its abundant wildlife and cultural richness presents a significant opportunity to attract more tourists to our region. Botswana is committed to working closely with our partner states to unlock KAZA's full potential and ensure its inclusive economic development across the ecoregion. And we have just heard from His Excellency that we must position ourselves as a destination of tourism. Yes, of course, In Botswana, we have that motto of Botswana, our pride, your destination, including the tourists. So it will be KAZA in this place to be a destination of tourism. To capitalize on these opportunities, Botswana has developed a national tourism strategy and master plan 2021. This plan strategically positions 4 of our 8 tourism development areas within the KAZA TFCA. We are also working to enhance our tourism offerings with strong focus on local community inclusion. This is not only to ensure that economic benefits are shared, but also to foster a sense of ownership and pride in our natural heritage. Let me assure you that Botswana remains firmly committed to the KAZA TFCA initiative, as epitomized by our volunteering to host the Secretariat, getting land of it, as it has been mentioned, as well as not only stopping that far. Just a few days ago, we were passing or discussing a CAB memo to deal with diplomatic benefits of those officers of the KAZA Secretariat. So very soon they will get their diplomatic, yes. We have passed that memo.
Since its establishment, member states have remained committed to shared efforts to conserve some of Africa's wildest expanses, protect its wildlife, promote tourism, and improve the socio-economic well-being of local communities.
Botswana has developed a national tourism strategy and master plan 2021. This plan strategically positions 4 of our 8 tourism development areas within the KAZA TFCA. We are also working to enhance our tourism offerings with strong focus on local community inclusion. This is not only to ensure that economic benefits are shared, but also to foster a sense of ownership and pride in our natural heritage. You know, just to indicate one thing, when KAZA started, it's not that people were properly consulted in my area. I know it made a lot of people, especially those who are within the KAZA area, to be very uncomfortable. Some were asking themselves, what is it? Are they taking our plots, our cattle posts, or what? There were so many stories. So, but with time, we tried to do a lot of public education. Now they accept, they know what KAZA is all about. It is to their benefit. Some of them, they are benefiting even from the programs that they were not very much attracted to, the CBRM policies and programs, because of the sensitization by KAZA. And some of them, they are even invited to some areas to go and meet with other people from other places. So that in its own, a lot of people in our KAZA area, they are very much aware of what KAZA is all about.
UAP's continued conservation program is comprised of 86 registered conservancies and 43 community forests covering 180,000 square kilometers. And in that area, over 227,000 residents. Our success story is rooted in community-based conservation of wildlife, which as a strategy has helped us to unlock the vast potential of our natural resources as a means of empowering our local communities. We are grateful and proud of this achievement.
Our brother country, the Kavango Delta, shared with the KAZA countries, the steppe and savanna areas in the province of Mashiko, shared with the neighboring Republic of Zambia, our brother country, the tropical beaches provided by the Atlantic Ocean, the Mayombe forest shared with the Democratic Republic of Congo, just to name a few. To all these natural elements, our cultural values are added. The cultural diversity of our people, our hospitality, rhythms and traditions make Angola a potential tourist destination. But we no longer want to be a potential tourist destination. We want to be a tourist destination.
As partners in conservation of this rare species, KAZA countries remain united towards their efforts to protect and manage its ecosystem. A case in point is to advocate for the lifting of the ban on ivory trade at the next Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, CITES, next year in Switzerland.
As a region, we have a proud history of wildlife conservation. Among us, we have the largest herd of elephants and other megafauna in the world. This should provide us with an edge in global conservation matters and enable us to create the much-needed benefits for our people. It is disheartening, most unfortunate, and unacceptable that those who are opposing our conservation philosophy have themselves failed to manage their own wildlife populations. Some to the extent of extinction. In contrast, we in Southern Africa, and more specifically in the KAZA area here, we've managed to grow our wildlife populations substantially. We should never allow those with dubious agendas to dictate the way we manage and utilize our own God-given resources, as well as the conservation models we deploy within our own jurisdictions among ourselves. In this context, we need a common voice in defending our conservation policies, our people, and our sovereignty. The upcoming international engagements, such as the CITES 20th Conference of Parties, COP20 in 2025, should provide a platform to defend our policies and values in our region.
Ya ka yero na re dumela na le yone gore a go nne le gore o liftiwe the hunting ban really telele go laola because it's part of our management ya diphologolo mme re santse ra go bua le CITES kana re bontsha bongwe ja CITES ja ka le mahatshe mme bile ra go nna le elephant summit go kana ke ka bo August mo kgwedi tse ditang mme ra go bua thata ka kgang.
The regional bloc, SADC, is also in agreement over the KAZA ideals on conservation and protection of wildlife species, as explained by KAZA leaders.
SADC remains committed to facilitating this mission through the SADC CITES engagement strategy. We applaud efforts by the KAZA member states in advocating for the lifting of proposed trade bans, which are having serious unintended consequences on wildlife conservation, rural livelihoods, and socio-economic development of our region. As we approach the 20th CITES Conference of the Parties, or COP20 for short, it is critical that we reflect deeply on past experiences and failures, learn from them, and explore different channels, including diplomatic channels, to defend the interests of the SADC region and our communities. This should include identifying alternative options for trading our wildlife products, especially where, in my view, reason and objectivity are embraced and not just the often exhibited rigidity and inflexibility by some of our stakeholders.
While the area boasts of diverse wildlife species, human-wildlife conflict remains a challenge in the area. The effects of climate change on wildlife conservation efforts, as well as the synchronization of community benefits within the KAZA region, rages on.
The protection of wildlife essentially involves crime prevention, and there is an urgent need for government and communities to work together to strengthen measures for crime prevention in order to protect our wildlife. Collaboration in this regard, particularly through joint intelligence operations, is therefore imperative.
Times encroach in animal areas. We have seen that settlements growing all over the place, even on the routes of migrating animals. So in our area, the most migratory animals are the zebras. They have their roots. So we are even declaring some of the places as zebra, the Makadikadi, as the zebra's homes. They normally migrate along those areas. But as we know, it's very difficult sometimes. People have choice to where they want to build their kraals, where they want to make their borehole. You know, they apply for any land that they want, and they are allocated land. But we must be mindful of how we disturb some of these corridors. So I think as KAZA, we will continue to educate people.
We, together here, 5 of us, must say, how quickly should we be putting water in the areas that are having no drinking water because of the drought? Now, hear me out. As I said, I'm a cattleman. The same water actually will be available for domesticated animals. It will be available for wild animals in some cases. In some cases, we must take water in these KAZA areas. Quickly put water holes there. Otherwise, there will be no game to talk about. Some of the areas, by the time the drought is ameliorated somewhat, depending on what this rain season is going to be, wildlife will be dissipated. Trees will die off. So KAZA must look at practical issues as well.
Despite challenges, the positives outweighs the negative by miles. KAZA members launched an ambitious transformative journey, branded Rivers of Life, to mark a pivotal moment in the region's journey towards promoting conservation, sustainable tourism, and community empowerment in the respective TFCA components. The summit further called on KAZA member states to consider joining the KAZA Univisa system and immediately implement the KAZA destination brand.
We need a brand that positions Kavango, Zambezi in a way that resonates with tourists, resonates with the tourist trade, and differentiates us from our competitors. We also need a brand identity which captures people's imagination and draws them into this area. And most important of all, we need to make sure that all our stakeholders work together very, very well in promoting this amazing area for tourism. Now, we all know that the best way to involve stakeholders is to ask them for their opinion. Bring them on board. Make them part of what we're doing. And that is exactly the process that was followed in the development of our brand.
This is a new brand. This is a new way of marketing this landscape, otherwise known as KAZA, Transfrontier Conservation Area. So as Kavango Zambezi, this is the brand that the partner states have come up with the brand identity as part of their marketing. And we've had to do this work over the last 18 months. So this pledge basically means that your Botswana Tourism Organization work, for example, is actually going to co-brand with the Kavango Zambezi brand. The same in Angola, the same in Namibia, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, basically marketing the Kavango Zambezi destination as a single tourism destination, globally and domestically.
We would like to encourage and to say to you that, this must be sold by each and every agency, be it government or private, to ensure that the KAZA brand is well known worldwide and can bring the needed development in terms of our tourism in this region.
The KAZA TFC area is a partnership centered on a common vision to conserve biodiversity at scale through promoting integrated transboundary management and to market the landscape biodiversity using nature-based tourism as the engine for rural economic growth and development.
Hasna nare seka re tsere se ba gore seka re bona gore ha ra thabolla re batla gore tsena la tshwana la tholo tot re dire ka tsileng jang ne ra ebella manane wa ntse ra dirisa go morago a tshwana bo limit la mangwela go morago re bona gore ga ra dira sentle ga gona kgolo botsadi ga ra dira sentle go tlele ya nna ha ta go nna ha